going to share this video later on your platforms?
Yeah, I could.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Wrestling Diaries. Today, we have the awesome, the badass, the fighter, Cung Le, ladies and gentlemen, world champion, actor extraordinaire, awesome guy from Vietnam. What's going on, Cung?
What's up, man? How you doing?
First of all, thank you so much for being on the Wrestling Diaries and for, reaching out. When I reached out to you, I really appreciate that.
No problem. My son was really, he's really into wrestling and fighting and stuff like that. So, I actually have him help out with my social media a little bit, so he understands how to, work his way through social media. And then, look, the Wrestling Diaries. So,
yeah,
you can thank.
yeah. Tell him I said thanks so much. A lot of people think that the Wrestling Diaries it's about professional wrestling, and it's really. It's funny, I got the name from wrestling, but it's really about like what people are just wrestling with in everyday life and stuff like that. And you obviously have done a lot of wrestling, physically and metaphorically speaking, right?
Yeah. I just I say about 3 interviews ago, this one interviewer, Randall, he says, "Cung Le, you it's like you versus the two-headed dragon, It's you versus the UFC representing all the fighters, and you versus Kentucky, the corruption in Kentucky, for your wife. It's crazy." So I'm like,
real quick before we get into like your origin stuff, because I mean a lot of people can go to your website and look at it. But what's going on in Kentucky? You said corruption in Kentucky. What's that all about?
Well, my wife, her 2 kids were literally kidnapped by CPS. And where they falsify documents, and we finally got a decent hearing on with the judge. That he's more like a higher level judge, and then he says he never said that that she couldn't have any like even phone calls with her kids, even like inmates people in jail have phone calls with their kids, and like what they're doing is like crazy, like nuts, right? So like we have a recording, because one thing about in Kentucky, when you can record everything without the other person knowing, and you can use that as evidence, which I think is brilliant. I think it's great because you can always protect yourself at all times, but at the same time, the system over there. Well, I wouldn't say it's the system, but I would say it's more like the people, like the deputy sheriffs that, they were her ex. They were never married, and her kids were like literally taken away. And
wow.
Where they there was a high speed chase. Remember, there's a one lane this way, a 1 lane the opposite way, maybe two and 2, 4.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how the hell did we get away from 30 cops? Because we have a list of all the cops from all this different counties there, and we have a 911 call where they say the car is grounded. So it's like they've done it so long and gotten away with it so much until they met Spring, who has went to school for law, and with my with my background and all the support with the fans and all the social media, I'm using my platform to help. And not only am I helping, my wife now, is we're helping all the victims that have been reaching out to us. There's I would say we've been reached out to over 50, 60 times, and a good handful of them we can actually make a class action, because a lot of it's with the same CPS, it's with the same deputy sheriff that was harassing them. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of like the good old boys system. I'm not sure if you know what that is, but it's like they all try to stick up and defend each other. And when they surrounded her car, because she when she was going to a safe harbor, which is a place where you protect them, but she figured, yeah, I'll just give them my drug test, so because she has nothing to hide. they literally strip searched her,
Oh my
made her like
God.
naked, checked her cavities, and remember, this lady who did this is not even this. She's not even like CPS. She's like a paralegal for a company,
Oh my God.
and yeah. So I've exposed it so much. I felt like this I put so much heat over there. There's like her her ex is a deputy, and then his friend is a head of the drug unit, and he's just pleaded guilty to some crazy charges. Could be facing up to 20 years, So, and
Jesus.
I just with all the information we recorded, CPS, the case is closed. You talk with the fathers. So we try to reach out. We couldn't do it. So for her birthday, she wanted to see her kids. So we took a risk. We flew over there, and we saw her youngest, but through like because through this the ex owns a gym, so he closed the door, and then he was recording me, so I recorded him.
Wow.
And then after that, I was on private property. Now the street corner is not private property; that's the city owns that. Then he puts a restraining order on her. How did he get that passed? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The restraining order should be either on me. Then what he says is because we did a video on my YouTube where I'm teaching her basic knife, and I said, let's call this Mitt Orn. Orn could be any, like on anything. Beep that out for me, okay? So we basically I called the Mitt a certain name, and then and so that's threatening his life. Now this is like a big deputy sheriff who has 2 cases against him where the Boyd County was sued for it, and he snapped some dude's arm in the back of the squad car.
Jesus Christ.
So it's crazy. But when I went out there, right after that incident, I have video of everything. Like we just came, you saw my girl, her mom, even and my son, and they were just like, hi, hi, mama loves you. And so we didn't stay there more than 20 seconds. We left. We went to go eat pizza. Some cops rolled up. Like, why would they ask? Was there any ill intention? Well, no, none at all, officer. Has there been a crime? Was there a crime committed? I would look around. Nope. It's like, what can they do to me?
Right.
And at the same time, I had my son and everyone recording in the background. It's like, come on. So they were on edge because everything going on, police brutality, everything. So they were like, Then we went to go to a restaurant with one of our friends that same night, and then basically, someone who works in, like a public servant, who's been following our story, who's part of that area, told us that he was trying to report us. They're drinking. Catch them when they're on the way out. Like they're drunk. They're leaving the place. They've been drinking. Someone get them. Like, come on, please.
Did they jump you? Did they try to grab you?
No, like he wanted us to get arrested. But one, I don't drink much.
Right.
I'll drink on special occasions, 1 or 2 cups of wine, and that's it. So that night, I bought some drinks for her mom, and her friend.
Yeah.
But I don't, unless it's wheatgrass or ginger shots. Yeah,
Yeah, healthy stuff. It's crazy, man. This almost sounds like that. You ever heard of that story, Walking Tall? I think The Rock did a remake of the original movie from the 70s about that corrupt town in Tennessee with the I don't know, like the sheriff was running everything, and this is what it kind of sounds like a little bit like that.
Yeah, it's straight up like that. The crazy thing is, look the world we live in now. It's a pandemic. Supposedly,
right. Be careful with that, Con. I'm kidding.
World on lockdown.
Yeah.
And then here you got like The Rock being in a movie that's similar to this. So what happens? They take things that they know about and they turn it into a story. I'm living in my own my own movie here, you know.
Right. Yeah, literally and figuratively. So
Yeah,
can you tell like where is this in Kentucky? Can you give that information? Like what county or where at?
Boyd County, Ashland, Greenup, you know. So
Jesus.
everything that I'm letting you know,
Mm-hmm.
there's documents. So
Right.
I've on air. Hey, check out this restraining order on someone.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
so
sure.
so we have another hearing, and it's like, you know, I just got married like 10 days ago.
Okay.
And
Congratulations, by the way.
thank you. We kind of been like going our like, you know, like honeymoon,
Mm-hmm.
supposedly because of this lockdown. But you know, like you know, we're just gonna start driving. You know, my wife's preparing for her spiritual quest because she's Apache. You know,
Okay.
so talk about Native American. Now, whose land is this that, you know, we're all living on? Their land.
Right. Yeah, they were
You know?
here first, technically. Right.
Yeah.
How much
So
Apache is she? Like a lot? I've seen her before. She's real tan.
she's like she's probably about 90%, but she's got Seminole. She's got a little bit of a tiny bit of, you know, Irish, but
Yeah.
she's 90% Native American.
Jeez Louise. So if y'all have kids, they're going to be like Native American and Vietnamese and just all kinds of mixtures of bloods.
And we'll see what happens. Whatever God gives to us, you know, gives us right now, which is like we're in a pandemic.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to implement everyone has to be vaccinated, potentially with the chip. You know,
It's pretty
so
scary stuff, man. Scary stuff. How did you meet your new bride? Where did she? I know she's like
well,
modeling, right? She came out to California and met you, or how did that work?
no, we've known each other for a while. After I won the strike force, you know, middleweight world title,
Mm-hmm.
we you know we were on. She was on the bottom. I was on the top, and you know we kind of you know she was a reporter back then. We talked a little bit, but I just you know it wasn't like where we can continue. So like over the years, like she posted that, and then I made a comment, and then you know then we ended up
Yeah.
talking.
The rest
You know,
is history.
like we stay in touch here and there, and then you know see how we're each other doing. But you know, other than that, it's nothing like, you know, nothing serious till, you know, the last, you know, like the last probably good over a year now, you know. So
Yeah. Can I ask what made you know she was the one, man? What did it for you?
well, it, like I've been married twice before, and
Okay.
like my first marriage, we just grew apart, right?
Mm-hmm.
My second
Sure.
one, I can say like it was the first couple years was good, and all of a sudden you see the real side come out,
Yeah.
and then you know, I, at that point I was peak at my career. I was traveling a lot. I was doing movies and fighting at the same time, and you know we had an agreement that, you know, it's all about support, it's all about the kids, and then you know I found it strange where it was a little bit difficult because every time I travel somewhere, like literally, you know, like when you have a big role in a movie, they pay for two, like first class or business class to wherever it is, and like I was just like weird, like she never wanted to go, and she was never really as supportive, like, you know, like I've seen like some of the other fighters where, you know, that I'll talk to, or even my coach was like, he would ask some questions that would kind of, you know, because I was so focused in like life and being the father, being the husband, being the friend, and
Yeah.
then making sure all the ends, you know, met. And then I wasn't paying attention to what Kung Lee needed, you know, what I needed. And then, you know, I was give, and I realized, hey, you know, I'm supporting your dad who had a stroke, who can't work anymore. We just recently bought him a little, you know, 2 bedroom, and then you know, why am I always explaining myself, you know? So then, I mean, there's so many layers to that story. It's almost like, you know, wait till my book. When I write my book, you
Oh,
guys will all
you're
be.
okay. You're writing a book right now?
No,
Oh, okay.
I've been approached. You know, my management team brought it up. Some people want to, move forward with the book, but I feel like it's still early. There's still
Yeah.
the case is still, you know, going where I'm representing over 1,200 fighters.
Sure. Yeah. Wow.
And this case with my wife, and then her past and how we met. It's almost like how God did His work, and we for all that we endured in our past, we have each other now. But at the same time, the support I give her and the support she gives me, like she clicks in for my case, but she has a hard time dealing with her case. I have a hard time dealing with my case, but I can just snap on for her case.
Gotcha, man.
So,
you're wrestling emotionally with a lot of shit right now, bro.
Yeah,
but I feel like you can handle it pretty well, man. You're a tiger. I watched Grandmaster last night with you in it. First time I ever saw that movie, and the opening scene is awesome, dude. But you were fighting IP Man. That was crazy.
Yep. Yeah.
That
was actually fun and cold at the same time.
I bet. Now, did they use like machines to make it rain, or did they just like?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They used make it rain, and the water was freezing.
Yeah.
And at the time, the weather was cold.
How does it? A lot of people I know probably wonder, like, they see that scene and it's only like what, I don't know, a 5-minute really awesome fight scene between two characters, but literally making that scene takes 2 weeks. Jesus Christ.
Well, Master Wu Ping, he's very detailed, and then you have Wong Kar Wai stepping on the set, directing me for emotion, and usually that doesn't happen when you have the action director. This doesn't happen in China, and then the director at the same time. They let each other give space, but it's like how I landed in the rain, how he wanted me to look up. It was kind of I learned so much on with Wong Kar Wai and Wu Ping at the same time.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Let me ask you this question: what do you like better, acting and starring in movies, or fighting? Competing.
They both have their good qualities and their sacrifices, right?
Yeah.
So I think if I had, now that I have my wife, who's like, hey, if you ever if you want me to go, I'm there with you, and I feel like, because when you're working all day and then you come back and you have no one, you're just like, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym and then I'm gonna go to sleep, because the next day it starts all over again, and if you have someone there with you going through that journey, I think it'll be more like rewarding when you have someone. And now that my son's 15, he literally now he can homeschool because he's a stud wrestler. But look at the season. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen next year. They said that now they're moving his wrestling till like June. By that time, school should be almost over with.
Yeah, no, it's terrible.
What are they going to do? Wrestle with masks?
Yeah, that would be ridiculous.
Work it. Then, our governor here is kind of like, like trying to no more Bible studies, trying to like stop church. It's crazy. It's like Revelations. It's like end days.
Yeah, I heard there's a lot of celebrity type people moving out of California for that reason. I think Joe Rogan was one of them. I think I heard he was moving to Texas if he hasn't already, because it just can't deal with all the lockdown stuff. It's overboard or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna, spend like part of the year in Vietnam, and then and the other, just traveling.
Now, do you have a home in Vietnam, like a home out there that you stay in, or?
Well, I don't have a home, but I have like a brother out there.
Okay.
He owns Saigon Sports Club.
So
okay. Go out there, it's like I can stay at one of his apartments or whatever. Or, so
that's nice, man. That's really cool. I've been wanting to go to Vietnam for a long time. Just haven't had the opportunity come up yet.
Vietnam's case, no death, only 300 and something cases.
I saw that.
Corona.
Yeah.
America, it's like.
Yeah. Me and my mom were talking about that the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. She My mom is from a city right outside Saigon called Natang. Natang. I don't know if I'm pronouncing
Yeah,
that right. Um, and
that's,
you were originally from Saigon, right?
yeah.
They don't call it Saigon anymore, though, right? It has a new name, right?
Ho Chi Minh City.
Ho Chi Minh City. Okay.
Yeah.
And so basically, you got to write that book though at some point, man. Because well, when you said you finished your story, because you've got a great story, dude. You and your mom were refugees escaping from the communist faction, right, of Vietnam, and you came over to the States to
Yeah.
California for freedom, and then you said, I know I've read some of your bio stuff, and I've followed you for years now, but you used to get picked on a lot when you were a child in school and stuff.
Correct.
Do you
Yeah.
think you got
Correct.
picked on because was it just because you were smaller? Was it because you were Vietnamese, or why was that? You think?
Well, coming here to America, where after the war, I believe it was over 50 or 60,000, GIs were, killed, and
Yeah,
so did. Um, and if you dig up the real reason, it wasn't kind of put out there in that way. So when you have to come into a new country, when a lot of the kids don't understand what really happened, of course they're gonna take it in the wrong way, and they're gonna retaliate by I guess bullying or name calling.
hmm,
And it's you know it is what it is. It's the world we live in. And like, I try not to look back too much,
yeah,
because then it's holding me up from moving forward. Right
sure,
now, I'm just, my sword is drawn, and I have a two-headed dragon in front of me.
yeah. But that
So
stuff was your fuel, anyways, because you dealt with that stuff. You got into all kinds of martial arts, and then you got into competition, you got into wrestling, and you got into fighting, and then you were just a stud, man. I looked at your kickboxing record. I didn't realize you were undefeated, 17-0. That's hot
uh,
stuff,
you
man.
know, yeah, but I think it's the trial of life, right? It's almost like God puts you in these positions, and He sees what you do. Then then He, you know, it, depending on your belief system, depending on how much faith you have, is how more involved He is, right? So that's how I see it. It's like people who don't pay much attention to God, who does who does their own thing. It's their choice, it's their freedom, it's what they want to do. But like, I put just about everything in His hands, and I just tell Him, hey, or I tell, when I say my prayer, guide me, bless me, protect me, and use me. I,
Sure.
I'm I'm here, you, for your plan, not my plan anymore.
Hmm.
And so that's why, it's like I feel like I have the biggest, strongest shoulder in the business. No one has stronger shoulders than me, because they don't know what I'm up against. But then again, I don't know what other people are up against in the world, but I know in my little circle, I'm the king,
Right.
because
I like
no
that,
one
man.
can even match what I'm up against.
That's
You know,
that's beautiful, Kung.
but the team that I have, my wife, her mom, my sons, my family, it's powerful. And the most important picture is, if God's in front of you, nothing can stand against you. And that's what I believe. So I feel I'm unstoppable, because if it's my time, then it's my time. But other than that, who's going to stop me? And I just got to keep pushing forward. If someone's going to do a certain thing, whether it's evil, whether it's corrupt, and I have to go through it, I'll draw the sword, and
That,
I'll be the first to strike.
that's
That's
awesome, dude.
that's what it is.
How long have you been a man of faith of I guess a Christian, right?
All my life,
All your
I
life.
was, thank God to my family and my grandfather, who I remember sitting at the table, because I didn't like too much of the food that, with all the greens and onions.
Yeah, me
I
too.
just, and I remember asking the question, "How come you're not eating?" And then he said, "I'm waiting for everyone to make sure everyone's eating first."
It's a,
So
he sounded like an awesome man. A very
yeah,
honorable man. That's awesome.
still alive. I think the last meeting I had with him, I had a couple, you know, drinks of wine with him. You know,
Sure.
he's very, very religious. Everything he does, there's always a prayer to start, and there's always a prayer to end. You know.
Sure. I was looking at a picture of you the other day, and it was because you post those really awesome pictures of your battle damage from your fights. And it was one,
Yeah.
I'm not certain which fight. I think it might have been the Michael Bisping fight, but you're like, your eyebrow was cut open. And you just like, there was meat hanging out. And I was looking at this picture and I was like, man, what a beast. And my fiance, she walked by and she was like, oh my God, what is this picture you looking at of a guy whose face is falling off? And I was like, that's Kung Lee. And she goes, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah. I just remember with that fight, you know, when it hit me, the bone that holds up the eyeball broke, and I was bleeding, and I was like, you know, the cardinal rules when you get hit in the eye or the nose, don't blow your nose. And I had to because I was able to breathe. So
Breathe,
when
yeah.
it all came out and I was able to breathe, but at the same time, my face blew up and it
Yeah.
looked worse than what it was, you know. But it was like the damage, the pain was real because that pain I've never felt before when he hit me, you know. Whatever, it's like he like my kung fu brothers were always like, he hit you with the phoenix fist. That's right. And
The Phoenix
so
Fist.
I remember I wanted to throw up and shit at the same time. That was the only feeling I can explain, you know. It was like, holy shit. And the whole side was like a blurred out, like the TV that had no antenna.
Oh
It was
my
just
God, man.
staticky. And then I was like, survival mode, look for the knockout, you know.
Yeah.
So that was that kind of really showed me and like who I truly was, because I was like, all right, you ready to die? Like in my head, I'm like, damn. Like afterwards, I remember just remembering what I told, what I was saying to myself. You know, you will not quit. You know, you will go till the end. And then I remember my trainers, I'm just calling the fight, and I told him, you know, I remember saying, "Fuck you, yeah, or over." And he's like, "You crazy? You see your face?" I said, "Is my nose still straight?" He's like, "What the fuck's that have to do with it? Is my nose still straight?" He's like, "Yes, good. We're gonna continue. Tell me, like literally, we were that where they tap you to, like when the ref or the doctor puts up how many fingers. I remember my trainer tapping me 4 times, and then they're like, what, how's he, you know, like how's he able to see? And you know, at that time, you know, that we're ready to go back in. And you know, I was like, shit, here we go. You know, at the same time, you still have like nervous because you can't see anything. You can't really, you know, your face is bad because you can see meat hanging around you know, your vision, you know. So, and blood was everywhere. So I was like, oh well, let's do this, you know.
Yeah.
So
Do you think you'll ever go back to fighting, doing MMA or any kind of competition like that?
I'm the toughest fight of my life right now. Look at what's look at my opponent. My
Yeah,
opponent
that's true.
tougher than any of these MMA fighters. I mean, shit, I got corruption in Kentucky,
Yeah.
and I in the UFC. That's like David versus Goliath, or you know, it's
So can you let me ask this? Can you talk about your issues with the UFC right now? Is that something you can talk on the record about? Because I know a lot of people are probably like, "What is he talking about? I thought he just retired."
there's so many documents out there, you know, on those. I can put it in like a really quick breakdown for you guys. It's like when Pride was bought, when WEC was bought, when Strikeforce was bought, when all the apparel companies started falling at wayside. Why? Why is that? Because there's no negotiation powers for anyone else, right? So where do fighters go? What is that called? That's called a monopoly of the
Mm-hmm.
market, right? So why is there a Muhammad Ali Act in boxing that protects the boxer? How come fighters? We're not talking about just Floyd. We're talking about lower level championship fighters. Why are they getting paid more than UFC fighters that's fighting for the title? Where if I remember posting something like, here's Canelo. He's, you know, he's got a loss. Mayweather kind of did a number on him.
Yeah.
He didn't even come close, you know. Here's Canelo, who's like, he's in the pound for pound list right now, right? But here's Cowboy Cerrone. They're both like, known in the sport. And look at the price difference. 300 and something, or I can't remember exactly the number of Canelo, but it was in the 30, 40 million. And while, what's name got six figures, so that's my fight, because one day my son wants to fight and I want that fair market for him. My fight's all fair market for, like how. I remember going into AKA one day and everyone was on edge, and I was like, "Hey, are we gonna spar today?" Everyone's all like, "Right now we're trying to figure out, because John Fitch is going to be punished, and all of us were going to be punished because we don't want to sign our likeness away."
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, why would you have to sign your likeness away? Well, it's over the game and this and that, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I'm glad I'm not.
Hold on real quick. When you say sign away your likeness, you mean like your name and your brand, like they would own that and they pay you a lump sum, but then that's it?
They don't pay you anything.
Oh, wow.
They don't pay you anything.
They want your brand, but they don't pay you any money for it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, they have, because, and then if you look at the profit sharing, here's boxing. Sometimes it's like 70-30 fighters favor. Most time it's a 50-50. Where UFC, it's on the average of 85-15. UFC 5 fighters. Now, here it is. You sum it up. UFC means promotion. There's pride. There's all these other things that UFC bought out the main competition. But where would you go if you can't negotiate? What do you sign? What other contracts do you sign? You have no bargaining chip. And that's what UFC does. They cornered the market. They locked everything down. And now look how many fighters are saying, "Hey, pay me more."
Yeah, I know. I saw that article the other day.
Without the fighters, you can have. There's a lot other people as smart as the Fertitta brothers or Dana White.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure even smarter.
Yeah.
Look at Mark when he was looking into getting into the game. At one point, I believe Trump had something to do with something. There's a lot of billionaires out there. If they know what they know about where MMA would be today, thanks. Yeah. Hey, UFC and those guys, they did it. But they did it because they locked down all the fighters, and they did what they did, and they implemented the whole master plan. And their whole master plan is being, challenged by Kung Lee and the fighters who are standing up to, what's that monster called? Leviathan?
Leviathan, yeah.
Yeah. We're up against that.
Wow. That's wild, dude. I was so disappointed when after your Bisping fight and all that stuff went down. Because I was like, man, because my opinion is like when you were in Strike Force, I was like, Kung Lee, because during that time I was like, man, he is the best MMA fighter to not be in the UFC right now. Like you were just like grilling through the competition in Strike Force. No, I mean, not to disrespect those guys. They were awesome fighters, and some of them like put up pretty good fights against you, but you were just really good, dude. And your kicks, man, like, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's a thing online right now that has a comparison between you and Joe Rogan for who has the best spinning back kick in the world.
Yeah.
And there's like a poll. I don't know if you've seen that or not, but it's pretty funny.
Like, again, all glory goes to God. Thank you for the skills. A lot of, at the time I felt like, cause just the amount of training that I've done and my openness to absorbing a lot of these different other styles, and just my faith has gotten me where I was. And at one point when I did train and committed to only fighting, I was hard to beat, but I don't care who you are, you're beatable.
Oh, and yeah, I agree.
Get beat, and even the best of the best gets beat. And they might not get beat in their prime, but they eventually their time, their number is always going to come up sooner or later. So, you know, I'm a lot of people say, "Oh, Kung, you should start earlier." Well, if I started earlier, how am I supposed to feed my family?
Yeah.
So I started and I finish, and I try not to look back. And I'm grateful for that time, that God has given me in the MMA world. And I'm glad that I can be part of the MMA representing all the fighters of today. And when we win, they can all look back and say, not just thank me, but thank Rob Macy, the guy who started it. Thank all the other fighters like John Fitch, Brandon Vera, Nate Corey, Carlos Newton, who was the one who educated Rob, all those, all our blood, our sweat, our time, our sacrifice for the future, and now how certain is our future? More people's got to just have faith in God. More people's got to not turn that blind eye. More people's got to do shit about what is going on, what is happening in front of them. And that will change, and that will make the difference in this world. That will be the balance of power between good and evil. Yeah. People step up and, and roll up their sleeves and get it dirty. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Wow. Have you what part of California you're in? San Jose?
Yep.
Have you seen a lot of like crazy violent rioting and stuff out there from all the stuff going on?
I don't go near it.
Yeah.
So people who do go near it, they see it. Some are unfortunate to experience the backlash. So, I have a family. I'm gonna stay away from it. I got my wife, my kids. They all depend on me. So why am I gonna put myself in that out there?
Yeah.
When change really needs to come from every single person that could do something. By being out there, you're just being more of the problem.
Yeah. Now you were talking about your son earlier. He's 15. He's getting into wrestling. Now, is he cross training too in other disciplines like other martial arts and stuff like that?
Well, he with the striking saw me. I'm his main trainer on that.
Mm-hmm.
And with wrestling, he's got a great wrestling with the coaches at Smash Gym,
mm-hmm.
Jacob Palomino, and then the jiu-jitsu he'll be doing at Smash Gyms. And then, I bring him to the Smash Gym in Milpitas where they have the fight team, and he mixes in with all the amateur and pro fighters too. He's only 15. This kid's a beast.
Yeah, I've seen some pictures and videos of him, man. He is.
He has hands. Like when he spars with kids like his age, I make sure that he can only hit to the body. I mean, his power is unreal.
Yeah, so, he looks a lot like you too. He looks like a kind of a smaller, wider, more Caucasian version of you. His build almost looks like yours too. I feel like when he gets older, he's gonna have a build just like yours.
Yeah, it's almost like a lot of people like said that's like your mini me,
Yeah.
Except the white mini me.
Yeah. Yeah. You've got a little bit more of a tan than he does.
Yeah.
But he's half Caucasian, right? Correct? Am I right by saying that?
Half Mexican.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. You're just mixing all kinds of races together, bro. That's awesome. He's a good job, man. He looks like a great kid. How many kids do you have, Kung, by the way?
I
crap,
actually,
you had to think about this.
No.
Okay.
I think, I should count my youngest too, but yeah, mm-hmm. You can say officially bloodline 2.
I gotcha. Now, are any of the other ones following in your footsteps, trying to do athletics and martial arts and competing and stuff?
Let me take that back. My wife has 2 boys, so I have two boys. I got to see them,
Okay.
So that's what I forgot, because we're fighting for them. We got to bring them back home to their real home, because they're
How old are they? Her kids, if I can ask.
Dumb fucks. Excuse my Vietnamese.
No, yeah, that's
they're
Vietnamese,
corrupt.
ladies and gentlemen.
They the youngest is 5, and her oldest is 9.
Oh, so they're babies still. They're still little babies.
This is CPS. Where in the rule book says the father should have all control, and the mom has no conviction. I paid $200+ to have the FBI report to make sure they see she's clean.
Mm-hmm.
They put anything on her because they know we have it everywhere blocked. They throw a curveball, we have the batter to fucking hit that out of the park. Every fucking ball they can throw at us, we're ready to hit home runs on the first swing. There's no second swings or a foul ball. We have all the information to cut them. It's just we're just waiting because it's a slow process. This is how lawyers make their money. You know, I've gone through 2 divorces. You know, it's just part of the business.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. How do you find time to? So you're fighting and struggling with all this stuff. What do you?
Not struggling. I am fighting.
Right. Fighting.
Why? Because he put a task, and that's my task, and I enjoy my task. I enjoy exposing the corruption. I enjoy talking truth about it.
Yeah.
I was about to say, because it is all shit, and they're all shit, and they're all pieces of shit. But I enjoy it. What can they do to me if I'm just calling them shit?
Yeah.
They actually should agree with me, because what they're doing is these are kids. These are kids like, but sorry, but I can say this is floating on maybe the middle ground, because there are 800,000, kids that go missing just in America again, and 8 million in the world. We don't even know where. Some of us do know where, but everyone else don't, because they turn a blind eye and they're like, oh, what a tragic story. Okay, they're flipping the page or scrolling to the next item.
Yeah, you're talking about human trafficking, right?
That's correct.
People getting, a lot of stuff like that is going on. And what's funny to me is like the stuff going on in the world is pretty crazy with the pandemic and everything. But my point to people too
is there 8 people with coronavirus right now?
What's that?
Let me take that back. There might be, because the flu is, a lot of people get the flu. But is there 8 million deaths? Now we have 8 million kids missing in the world every year. But
yeah, and then nobody's talking about that the same way. I know what you're saying. That's pretty crazy, dude.
Yeah.
You're a passionate guy, Cung Le.
Oh, thank you.
You got a lot of passion, man. I like it. It's almost infectious. Like, it makes me want to get up and go do something. I got to get up and try to change the world. I'm trying to change the world one little small step at a time, having awesome people like you on the podcast. And
hit repost, educate people in your podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I'm trying to do. Add inspiration.
Challenge them. Just like before we started this whole thing, I said, hey, remember I said, since you're like, you're throwing those questions that I like to answer.
Yeah.
Then, I'm just going to say, if I have an appointment, my appointment can wait, because it's not helping the world my next appointment,
Yeah. People can just go to your website.
Yeah. So,
well, I hope I've done a good job so far, bro.
Oh, you have, you're letting me speak about what's happening, and, your listeners, your followers will at least hopefully open their eyes, and maybe when they drive home, if they're working from work and they see someone in need, maybe they'd be like, hey, I heard a great, podcast. I'm going to pull over and help this person.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Dude, that would be awesome. And then someone sends me a message and I'll message you and I'll tell you.
And you have problems.
I wanted.
If you don't my message, I'm talking to your fans right here. Do you have problems? But if you do, don't turn a blind eye.
Yeah.
Do something.
Listen to this guy, or he'll hit you with a spinning back fist. I wanted to get my mom to come on the show today. I wasn't able to, but just so she could meet. Like I said, she always loves meeting Vietnamese people, and she doesn't know who you are, but she would have enjoyed probably chatting with you. Can you speak fluent Vietnamese?
I can speak Vietnamese, yes.
Okay, yeah. So she could have talked to you. She never, I'm half, and she never really. She never really tried to she tried to work on helping us be bilingual, but our dads
Does
are
she
just.
podcast?
What's that now?
Does she listen to your podcast?
No, she
No?
doesn't.
Well,
She should though.
I'm gonna say hi to all your fans in Vietnamese.
Okay.
Kính chào quý vị. Lê Cung đây. Lê Cung muốn nói quý vị, Lê Cung sẽ cố gắng hết sức để làm cộng đồng Việt Nam rất là vui. I just said, hey, what's up, everyone in the Vietnamese community? I want to do my best to represent you and make you proud.
Nice. Thanks for that, dude. That's awesome.
Now get on and listen to her son's podcast.
Yeah. So maybe I can have you on again at some time, and then I'll have her on with a headset, and you can talk to both of us. It's gonna be pretty weird. She's gonna be like, Micho, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
I love that lady so much. She was actually in the the Vietnamese military, the Southern military that was fighting with the Americans against the Viet Cong in the war. Yeah, and then she met her husband. That's how she came over here.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but like there's still a lot of hard feelings in America with the Vietnamese here, and if there's any Vietnamese listening to this, let's stay united. Forget about being upset with each other. That was how many decades ago?
A lot.
Get over it. Let's get with the modern time. Let's stand united, not just with the Vietnamese, but with all the Asians and all the people around the world, and make a difference. God will help those who help themselves. So we need to help ourselves get on the right track.
Heck yeah. Amen. Amen to that, Brother Cung. Love that. Man, this has been a really awesome show. Have you had fun?
I had a blast.
Be on a guy from Alabama's show you've never even met or talked to in real life. It's great. Yeah, I'd love to have you on, man. You're, like I said, you're a passionate guy, and it's infectious. And I've been keeping up with you. When I first heard you on the scene, I heard that there was a Vietnamese fighter, and then I watched you, and I was amazed. And because I have more culturally, I guess I'm just a typical American boy, but there's part of me that is very much into my own culture, and so I think you've done a really good job of representation for Vietnamese people and also other Asian people and just minorities in general. For what you've accomplished and your faith and all that stuff. And I just commend you, my man. I commend you so much for doing all that stuff.
Hey, if you get a chance, so that officer I was talking about when I'm holding the mitt, so panties in a bunch, just if you could have that beep out, but if not.
Okay, yeah. I'll see if Matt can work it out. We'll get him to bleep. We usually do bleep all the bad words for all the kiddies. Oh man, you gonna bleep that, Matt?
Watch it. So this is for him.
I love it, man. Don't mess with Cung Le, ladies and gentlemen. Do not mess with him. You gonna let me be in one of your movies, man? You're gonna bring me on? Do I have to know martial arts or how to speak a different language?
Maybe you can act really like a really good zombie and then get killed really good. Then we'll see.
You're doing a zombie movie?
I'm putting together. Think John Wick meets 28 Days Later.
Dude, that's incredible. When is that coming out?
Well, I'm almost done writing it.
Oh, and, you write screenplays?
I write screenplays.
Oh.
Yeah, I gotta learn how to do these things because an Asian guy like me, come on. I mean, I've been in 2 movies I starred in, and the rest of my movies, I'm like either the bad guy or
Yeah, you had that moment with IP Man and Grandmaster last night. It was a good fight, but he broke your leg really good and punched you through that gate.
Yeah, man. Damn it.
That was awesome, dude.
My eyes I couldn't see, so he got me.
Oh, I got you. Do you you fly out to I guess Hong Kong to film a lot of those martial arts pieces, right?
I fly out to China, like Beijing or Shanghai. a few times I've stopped in Hong Kong. Then they drive me across to the China borders, and I forgot the cities. I've been on a lot of movie sets, and I can't remember them all.
Yeah.
I just on those I know when I show up. A lot of times they're like, "Oh, Kung's here." Let's like literally the day I get in, I'm getting dressed, outfitted. I go to I think it's rehearsal, and I'm wielding the sword, and Master Wu Ping's all very good. We shoot. I'm like, oh shit, okay. So,
Man, that's amazing. What was your favorite movie to do out of all the ones? Do you have one that was just the most fun that you had to do? Was it Dragon Eyes, the one you starred in?
well, Dragon Eyes was so much work because I put together all the fights, then had a star in it, and
You did the
it was
choreography, you mean?
yeah.
Wow.
And so that was that play took like 5 years off my life.
Oh my God.
But every movie set that I've been on, I had a great experience and just learning. And I think the biggest thing is like it's not about going on and enjoying everything that I do. I more like I enjoy it, but at the same time, I'm looking at it as I'm going to school because I'm learning from the best. I pick it's how much information I can gather from the directors, from the other actors, and even the stunt guys, like what they do to stay safe. So I'm always like I'm that half empty teacup student that wants to learn. So if I learn a lot, then I get the most out of that movie, right? So I got the most out of Dragon Eyes because I had to learn on the fly,
Right.
and I wish I had more time to rehearse. But when you're doing a lower budget movie, and it could have been 10 times better with the real budget, and when you look at it and people, then you got like a good little cult following on it.
Yeah.
You did something. Just imagine if I did have a right budget and I had the people and the manpower. I think I would. I think I would do. I would make a really a fun movie with a lot of good characters to follow and a lot of action that people will be like, wow, I never seen something like that. That's what I believe, and one day it would happen.
Nice. Can you so the zombie martial arts film that you're doing, do you have a name for it? Can you give that, or is that like hush hush?
Remember, it's 28 days later the director talked about or 28 hours later or whatever. He said it's not zombies.
Right.
I don't
they have like human rabies or something.
No. I don't want to give away too much.
I gotcha.
You just might have to wait till the next one when we're in pre-production.
Okay. I want to be in your movie, bro. I'll be a zombie. I'll let you do a spinning back kick on me as long as I can wear armor. If I can wear armor and pads, hit me with a spinning back kick and my head falls off when I'm trying to eat you or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, it'd be fun, man. Yep. I'd love it.
Yeah, well, I'll let everyone know on my social media when that's happening. The casting won't be done by me. I'm gonna stay in my lane. Because I just try to bring all my friends onto the movies and all know how to act. So
I gotcha. Can you do me one quick favor? There's a really good friend of mine and Matt's. His name's Clint Spain. I had him on the show several episodes ago. But he does. He's a fan of yours. He does 8-step praying mantis kung fu, and he's also a massage therapist. So you could just give a shout out to Clint Spain. Clint Spain.
Clint Spain?
Yeah, that's his name.
Okay, what's up, Clint? Keep training that praying mantis style, man. I think the praying mantis are really cool, and I used to, collect them in my yard, and they do a lot of damage to bugs. So
hell yeah,
training.
Well, Kung, I've had such a wonderful, wonderful time, man, and I don't want to hold you up any longer because I know you're a really busy guy. Got a bunch of stuff going on. But thank you so much for being on the show, brother. I hope we can still stay in touch, and I'd really
cool, man. Okay, God first, everyone.
And, all right. And before you leave, you can go ahead and plug in any of your businesses or anything, that you'd like to do. Your website, your social, follow them on social media.
You can plug that in for me.
Okay.
Channel. for basic self-defense with the blade, with pepper spray, whatever it is. But I always want to plug God at the end. So, I know
please do.
And you have your own God, but when there's good, there's evil. And whoever believes in God, believe there is a devil, and he's at work, and he's trying to work against you. So don't turn a blind eye.
Perfecto. Thank you so much, Cung. Ladies and gentlemen, this was another episode of the Wrestling Diaries. We had the awesome Cung Lee on today. Tell me, what do you wrestle with, and how can you beat it? One love.